Olive oil. It has been used in cooking for thousands of years, with origins tracing back to the Mediterranean civilizations of ancient Greece and Rome. The oil is pressed from the fruit of the olive tree, and the quality varies significantly, depending on how and when that pressing happens. Extra virgin olive oil comes from the first cold press and contains no chemical processing, which preserves its flavor and natural compounds. The taste can range from grassy and peppery to buttery and mild, depending on the olive variety and region. It works well for dressings, dipping, and light cooking, though its relatively low smoke point means it is not the best choice for high-heat frying. Coconut oil. It is extracted from the flesh of mature coconuts and has a composition quite different from most other cooking oils. A large portion of its fat content is saturated, which gives it a solid consistency at room temperature and makes it unusually stable under heat. It has a mild, sweet coconut flavor that works naturally in baked goods, curries, and tropical dishes. Refined coconut oil has a more neutral taste and a higher smoke point, while unrefined or virgin coconut oil retains more of the natural aroma. It has been a staple in South and Southeast Asian cooking for centuries and gained wider global popularity over the past 2 decades. Vegetable oil. It is one of the most widely used cooking oils in the world, found in nearly every commercial kitchen and most home pantries. The term is broad and somewhat vague. Vegetable oil is typically a blend of several plant-based oils, most commonly soybean, corn, or canola, refined and processed to produce a neutral flavored product with a high smoke point. Because it does not carry a strong flavor of its own, it works in almost any cooking application without affecting the taste of the dish. The affordability and availability of vegetable oil made it a dominant product in mass food production throughout the 20th century. Canola oil. It comes from the seeds of the canola plant, which was developed in Canada in the 1970s through selective breeding of the rapeseed plant to reduce certain naturally occurring compounds that made rapeseed oil unsuitable for regular consumption. The name itself is derived from Canada and the word oil. Canola oil is light in color, nearly flavorless, and has a high smoke point, making it one of the most practical all-purpose cooking oils available. It also has a relatively favorable fat profile, with low saturated fat and a decent amount of monounsaturated fat, which contributed to its popularity as a perceived healthier alternative to older cooking fats. Sesame oil. 2 very different versions of this oil exist, and they serve almost entirely different purposes in cooking. Light sesame oil, pressed from raw sesame seeds, has a mild flavor and a reasonably high smoke point, making it suitable for cooking at moderate heat. Toasted sesame oil, made from seeds that have been roasted before pressing, carries an intensely nutty, rich aroma and is used almost exclusively as a finishing oil or flavoring agent. A small amount goes a long way. It is central to Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and other East Asian cuisines, and the smell of it alone is enough to evoke an entire category of food for many people. Avocado oil. It is pressed from the pulp of the avocado fruit rather than the seed, which is unusual among cooking oils. One of its most notable characteristics is its exceptionally high smoke point, among the highest of any cooking oil, which makes it well suited for searing, grilling, and high-heat roasting. Refined avocado oil is nearly tasteless, while the unrefined version carries a mild, buttery flavor reminiscent of the fruit itself. It became more widely available in commercial markets during the 2010s, partly riding the broader wave of avocado's popularity, and is now a common choice for people looking for a neutral oil that performs well at very high temperatures. Sunflower oil. The sunflower plant is native to North America, but became a major agricultural crop in Eastern Europe, particularly in Russia and Ukraine, which remain among the world's largest producers of sunflower oil. The oil is light, mild in flavor, and has a high smoke point, making it a common choice for frying and baking. There are several varieties, some higher in oleic acid and therefore more stable under heat, others with a different fat composition suited more to lower temperature uses. Its affordability and clean taste have made it one of the most popular cooking oils across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Peanut oil. It is pressed from peanuts and is especially well regarded in high-heat cooking. The refined version has a very high smoke point, which is part of why it became the preferred oil for deep frying in many professional kitchens and in traditional Chinese cooking. Unrefined peanut oil retains a distinct nutty flavor and aroma, while the refined version is considerably more neutral. In the American South, deep frying turkeys in large quantities of peanut oil became a widely practiced tradition, particularly around the holiday season. It is also a common base oil in many Southeast Asian and West African dishes where peanuts themselves play a prominent role in the cuisine. Flaxseed oil. It is pressed from the seeds of the flax plant and is notable more for its nutritional content than its cooking versatility. Flaxseed oil is exceptionally high in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based form of omega-3 fatty acid, which drew considerable attention from the health and wellness community. However, it has a very low smoke point and breaks down quickly under heat, making it entirely unsuitable for cooking at any significant temperature. It is used almost exclusively as a cold addition to smoothies, salad dressings, or finished dishes. Because it oxidizes rapidly, flaxseed oil has a short shelf life and must be stored carefully, usually refrigerated, to prevent it from going rancid. Grapeseed oil. It is a byproduct of wine production, extracted from the seeds that remain after grapes have been pressed for their juice. For a long time, those seeds were simply discarded, and it was only relatively recently that extracting their oil became commercially practical. The result is a light, clean-tasting oil with a moderately high smoke point and a neutral flavor that does not compete with other ingredients. It became popular in restaurant kitchens for sautéing and as a base for vinaigrettes and infused oils. The fact that it comes from wine production gives it an association with European culinary tradition, though most commercial grapeseed oil is now produced in large volumes across several countries. Corn oil. It is extracted from the germ of corn kernels during the process of milling corn into other products. The United States is the dominant producer, given the scale of its corn agriculture. Corn oil is refined to produce a light, mild-flavored oil with a high smoke point, well suited to frying and baking. It has been a staple in American cooking for much of the 20th century and is widely used in the production of processed and packaged foods. Margarine, snack foods, and fast food frying operations have all historically relied on corn oil in large quantities. Its flavor is neutral enough that it rarely draws attention to itself in finished dishes. Butter-infused oil. It occupies a space between a fat and an oil, designed to combine the flavor of butter with the higher heat tolerance that pure oils offer. Some versions are simply a blend of butter and a neutral oil, while others are made from clarified butter or ghee, which has had the milk solids and water removed. The result burns less easily than whole butter while still delivering the rich, familiar taste that butter brings to cooking. These products are popular for pan sauces, finishing dishes, and applications where butter flavor is important, but the heat involved would cause regular butter to brown or burn too quickly. Ghee. It is a form of clarified butter that has deep roots in South Asian cooking and Ayurvedic tradition, used for thousands of years across the Indian subcontinent. The process involves simmering butter slowly until all the water evaporates and the milk solids separate, then straining them out completely. What remains is pure golden fat with an intensely rich, nutty flavor and a very high smoke point. Because the milk solids are removed, ghee does not spoil as quickly as regular butter and can be stored at room temperature for extended periods. It is used in Indian cooking for tempering spices, making flatbreads, and finishing dal, and has gained significant international attention over the past decade as interest in traditional cooking fats has grown. Walnut oil. It is pressed from dried walnuts and carries a distinctly rich, nutty flavor that is immediately recognizable. Like flaxseed oil, it is not well suited to cooking under heat, as the flavor degrades and the oil can turn bitter when exposed to high temperatures. Its value is almost entirely as a finishing oil or in cold applications like salad dressings and sauces where its flavor can remain intact. French cuisine has a particular tradition of using walnut oil, especially in the regions where walnuts grow abundantly. The oil is expensive relative to most cooking oils and is typically sold in small bottles, reflecting how little is needed to make an impact in a dish. Palm oil. It comes from the fruit of the oil palm tree and is one of the most produced and consumed vegetable oils in the world. A significant portion of the fat in palm oil is saturated, which makes it solid or semi-solid at room temperature and gives it a long shelf life without the need for hydrogenation. These properties made it extremely attractive to the food processing industry as a replacement for trans fats, and it is now found in an enormous range of packaged foods, from biscuits and margarine to instant noodles and chocolate spreads. It has also been used for centuries in West African and Brazilian cooking, where the unrefined red version, rich in color and flavor, plays an important role in traditional dishes.